Yo, 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 yo. You already know what time it is. We are back in the building. Let's Make History, episode 8. Man, we just grateful to be here and still be in the building, making sure y'all understand some of the most iconic and influential moments that have happened. You know what I'm saying? Fellas, y'all ready to make history?
Yes, sir.
Let's make history.
Let's do it.
All right? I definitely got to go around the building and let everybody know who we got in the building. Starting to my left, L, a.k.a. Old Man L.
Yo.
River.
You got Fresh, the instigator.
You know it.
You know what I'm saying? The debater.
Hating the blood.
Mr. Outplay Devil's Advocate. You know what I'm saying? Charm in the building. You know what I'm saying? What's good with you, man? You doing all right?
Coolin'.
Hey, man, and I go by the name of the experience. You already know what it is, man. Let's get into episode 8, man. Yeah. We want to talk about some of the best that never made it. And what we mean by that is, some of the best teams, sports teams, some of the best players
Second
that maybe
best.
never won
And not to be, there's no shame in second best. It just doesn't Let's Making History is about giving those flowers, making history.
Right.
Second best is big, you know what I mean? Because it's not to be, you're best in one division,
right?
But you just didn't get all the way there. And it's to be recognized, it's not to be, made ashamed of.
You never won like the chip or the big one.
Right.
Right. And even from the standpoint of music, certain artists that may have been just dope, but they never got over that hump to really get to that stardom or platinum status. So I'm gonna pop this thing off, man. And because like when Fresh threw out this topic, man, and then there was some teams that we kind of threw out there, but there were some teams that nobody threw out there, man. And I was like, I'm gonna keep this one in the chamber. I'm just gonna bring this one up. And I'm gonna start it off, man, with the motherfucking Fab Five. Listen. Man. As influential and iconic as the Fab Five were to the culture, they never fucking won the chip.
And it's so crazy that I was a spectator to college sports at the time. You don't even know that they don't. As a spectator, you don't. They were so big, they're rock stars. It's assumed that they won at least one. Right. Until you do your history, it's like they didn't win any.
They never won.
They went 2 years back to back, right?
Yeah.
And let's name the team. Jalen, Chris Webber, Jawan, and the names don't sound as spectacular right in 2021.
Well,
but in that time,
they're still relevant.
They're relevant. But even the length of what they're spectacular. They weren't what they were in the NBA, what they were in college.
Right.
Maybe Chris was. But the rest of them, of them were never what they were in college. For me, in the pros, what they were in college.
Hype-wise,
play-wise, athleticism-wise. Jalen had Jalen second place. They all made it. They were talented players. They weren't scrubs.
Right.
When Fab Five career,
I agree with what he's saying.
The hype was, they were big.
All the boys,
in college basketball and in boys and girls, just to give you guys just a little bit of context, back during this time, freshmen didn't start.
They did not start.
No.
Freshmen didn't play at all. Okay, at all. You had to learn the system. You had to pay your dues. Blah blah blah.
Right.
These dudes came in and said, "Fuck all of that shit.
Right.
We're going to not only are we going to start." We're going to motherfucking take over and go to all the way to the championship.
What about the ball head culture? The baggy clothes culture?
The baggy clothes,
The black socks culture.
The black shoes.
The sneakers that everybody wanted to wear the Webbers.
I haven't bought a pair of white socks since 1992.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
You go in my drawer, black socks all day.
Because of them.
It's part of the culture, part of it. But then Fab Five. But listen, man.
This cats deserve their flowers.
Yeah, man.
On that same note, this one's for Old Man River here. The UNLV running Rebels.
Yeah.
We ain't got to go deep into them, but that's
But they won.
Yeah.
They won. I looked at it, but they did win.
They
did win.
Okay. It just seems like they're not as praised as much.
But it seems like for as great as they were, you would have thought that they were
and he talking about
one
Stacey,
more.
Stacey Augman.
LJ.
Plastic Man, Larry Johnson, Greg Anthony.
Yeah.
These are some talent that came out of there.
But they did win. Fab Five didn't win. You know what I'm saying? Which, like
they
you say,
had all the talent in the world.
Yeah.
Oh,
but
man.
when you talk about some of the most popular college basketball teams of all time, they're probably going to be mentioned in the top 5, regardless of who you speak to. It don't matter if you speak to an 80-year-old man or a 16-year-old kid. You know what I mean? They were just, again, influence, not just from how college basketball was played. Again, freshmen didn't start. You know what I'm saying?
And they were all black.
Yeah, they were all black. they changed the look
The whole look
of basketball.
Yes.
Because prior to Fat, Michael Jordan was more so the only guy that wore, and his shorts weren't necessarily baggy. They were baggier than the underwear.
He started off with the short shorts.
Yeah, he
with the
started
tights under them.
Guys were wearing pantyhose out there on the court. Fab Five changed all of that. You know what I'm saying? The bald heads, the black sneakers, the attitude. Yeah,
it was
Fab
a whole
Five,
thing.
Yeah,
Man.
they were definitely. But to your point, they couldn't.
They crossed over to hip hop too. I mean, it transcended for.
Yeah,
well, that's what we're talking about influence. That's the best that never did it. But to really say, okay, wow. Even though you didn't do it, you really major to everybody. Because like I said, being second best sometimes is not the worst in the world. You know what I'm saying? It's not the worst in the world. It's unfortunate when you're that hungry to be the number one. It hurts, but you've beat a whole lot to be number two. You've really accomplished a whole lot to get to be number two. You know what I mean? And you respect it a lot. Everybody that's number one tips they had the number. I mean, you get joked on because it's only 1 and 2.
Right.
But they're gonna not treat you like number 18 for sure. You know what I'm saying? Like you're not gonna be the same.
That was a
mention.
good one, man. That was definitely good. I didn't have them on my list. That was
I didn't think. I was just like, wait a minute, like, because when you think about it, you forget that because they were so influential, you forget they didn't win.
Yeah. They were more popular than the guys that beat them.
Right.
I'm gonna throw an honorable mention. Then I'm gonna go at my one of my teams. Honorable mention, just but not. And this was one of them joints I happened to watch a movie and it just stuck in my head. Jesse Owens' brother ran the fastest 400 meter or the second fastest 400 meter in the world, second to his brother. Right?
Really? Okay.
Second place. Excuse me, Robinson. Let me look it up. It's either Jackie Robinson's brother or was Jesse Owens' brother.
Jesse Owens, yeah. Jesse Owens
okay.
Track, yeah.
So he 200 meter actually too. 200. Second best with the work at the time. Nobody even knew people could run that fast. The first best was a inch. Track
right?
An inch of a centimeter of a second.
Right.
Fast to make somebody better than you.
Right.
That is how good being second is, because if somebody really literally just got you like a race you ever lost by this. I mean, if you get smoked, it is what it is.
Right.
But when you lose like this, that shit is like, damn. And he's never ever mentioned because of so.
Right.
Because of being second place to somebody he lost to of a second.
Right.
Damn.
A second could have changed his place in history.
Yeah, that's crazy, right?
In history, a second, bro, a second.
Right.
Now that's old. That's way. That's in the 30s. But when I can't remember what movie I was watching. I want to say I was watching. The reason I got Owens in my head because either I was watching the Owens movie or the Jackie Robinson movie. One of them old movies I was watching, and it came up. You know what I'm saying? So I can't remember which one it was. But it was like the premise was he lost by a fucking second, and it changed his whole trajectory of history.
Right.
Of history. You've raced. I've watched you race. You've seen somebody lose by a second, and one is the victor, one is the spoil by a second.
And not even, it's probably less than a second, because in track terms,
millisecond.
a second is a
long time.
But
a
millisecond.
Millisecond. Man, that is incredible how that can change the dynamic of what you could have been in life.
Yes.
That's why I'm saying second place in my mind is so important to not down yourself on if you made it that far up. We ain't talking about 20th as far as ranking goes. But if you top 2 all the time, another one of mine is coming from the 90s, the Buffalo Bills.
Buffalo Bills.
And I see, here's the thing. They weren't just at the time, they were part of an urban team for me. You had Thurman Thomas's, you had
Andre Reed.
That
had
was
some
high top fade, like the
Hall
culture
of
they played Hall of Famers on top of that, culture people on top of that. Really good Jim Kelly, really good, solid individual players. Bruce Smith. I mean,
Don Beebe.
I mean, solid, fucking undeniable. Couldn't nobody else beat them but the number one team. You know what I'm saying?
Never win it. They went over that hump. They went to the Super Bowl 4 years. 4 years in a row. And never won it. That's got to be tough.
Got to give the flowers to them brothers. Got to salute them. Let them know they made history. They made history.
Oh, man. They went to the Super Bowl. I'm saying that again for the people. Y'all need to go and research the Buffalo Bills. Yeah. They went to the Super Bowl 4 years in a row, but just never could win it.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
That's tough.
Who beat them? I know what Dallas beat them. Charlie the 49ers.
Giants beat them.
Holla. Yeah, you know that. Got to remember that one. I think Dallas beat them twice.
And the team formerly known as the Redskins beat them. Yeah.
Got you. Yep.
So they ran into. But to your point, and it's tough going to the Super Bowl once is tough.
That's what I'm saying.
4 years in a row
And to lose.
And look how it changes the dynamics of their history.
Yes.
Because all them cats is Hall of Famers. But do you know how bigger they would be praised if they just won one?
Even if they won one.
Just one.
Yeah.
I mean, it's to the point where people just don't even give them any credit at all. Like you don't even think
they look at them as losers.
The number 2.
If you ain't first or last, Ricky Bobby.
Which is crazy because you really have to give credit to somebody who has been number 1 in their league for a while. But when it comes, I mean, let's go. What's the Black Panther? What was the big dude could never beat Black Panther? He was the undeniable the man in his area, but he just couldn't beat Black Panther. Did not mean you couldn't come to his territory and he wasn't gonna fuck anything up in his territory. But in this world, he just couldn't be number 1 for some reason. He was number 1 in his world. You see what I'm saying? But he just could not. If he could beat Black Panther, imagine what he would have been. That's all I'm saying. You know what I'm saying?
He would be that guy.
It would be now he got his land and that land. You see what I'm saying? He would be that guy. Now that was the analogy I was trying to say. Like them cats just was so powerful. I mean, the name that he named, Thurman Thomas, Don Beebe, everybody is going to be a first round, if not already been first round Hall of Famer. First round Hall of Famers, every one of them.
I mean, you think about it, like some of the teams that may have beaten them, like it's like, okay, like a team like you say the Washington football team, you know, they might have beat them 1 year, but then like those other 3 years, Washington might not have been good. But
fell off.
But Buffalo was good. You see what I'm saying? That's crazy when you look at it.
Think about it, how that's why second is always important, because whenever you look at that guy that lost, especially in track, anybody ran track, when you lost by a millisecond, you're not remembered. You are number 2 on your trophy, period. You are number 2 on your trophy. I don't give a damn how many times you explain it. Somebody gonna say, oh yeah, the silver one. I got it. You know what I'm saying? You feel me? The silver one. You got that one. I got you. You know what I mean?
But who you got, Charm? Who you think?
Oh man. I can't say this team is actually the influence that they had, but it's 2 teams I had to throw out there. And I was a fan of both of them. Sacramento Kings. When they was going against Kobe and them. And also
the white chocolate.
Yeah.
Okay. And
Chris Webber. Chris Webber comes up.
Stojakovic. Yeah.
Vlade Divac.
Mike Bibby.
Doug Christie.
Man.
Bobby Jackson.
They had a squad.
What year was that?
That was
2003.
That was 03?
I think it was 03 when they pushed the Lakers to 7.
Okay.
But yeah.
The year before that, or I think the year 2000.
2001, 2002.
Yeah, because the year before that was the Portland Trailblazers.
I was gonna say,
I remember betting my brother
Scotty and
they
had a whole full of Isaiah Riders on their team. They had a full of Harold Miners on their team.
Damon Stoudemire.
Well, not play talent wise. I'm talking about just getting high at the time. Everybody on that team.
Everybody on that team. Wallace. But they had Steve Smith.
Entire Damon Stoudemire. I mean, everybody's getting high. The best weed in Portland.
Yeah, absolutely.
The best.
The Portland Trailblazers and Sacramento Kings. I would honestly have to say Sacramento though, because they went up against Kobe and them and gave them
pushed them to the
limit on a couple years.
Trailblazers did too. Like that was
game 7.
That was game 7.
Trailblazers had their foot on their neck.
Yes.
They was up 10-12
going into the fourth quarter. I will never forget that because we was in Florida. Yeah, you know what I'm saying?
And just think if they won, how Shaq and Kobe's career, their legacies would be totally different.
Totally different.
And you know,
think about Chris Webber's legacy.
Mike Bibby, Doug Christie. Mike Bibby, Doug Christie.
Yes.
Doug Christie, right?
Yeah.
Bobby Jackson. Man, they had a squad.
Yeah, man. They definitely they had the Lakers on the ropes, big time. You know what I'm saying?
So that would be my team.
Yeah. Can I throw out the elephant in the room, or you want to throw?
No, go ahead.
Allen Iverson.
Yes.
Allen, the GOAT of the best number what ifs. The GOAT of the what ifs.
I can't say he's a GOAT.
Of the what ifs.
Of the what ifs. I can't say that either.
Who was the better what if than Allen Iverson?
Grant Hill.
No.
Penny Hardaway.
Penny was not. They were not better than
Grant Hill.
Tracy McGrady.
They were not better what ifs.
No. Here's the thing, though. The reason why I agree with him because Allen Iverson didn't have no injuries. That he played it all the way through. Grant Hill
would have been
probably in the top 10 conversation.
Absolutely.
Because he was putting up LeBron-like numbers for LeBron.
Here's where he wouldn't have been. Neither would have Penny. The only reason I put, opinion-wise, the only reason I put AI above them of the greatest what-ifs is because AI got to the latter years of the Jordan era. Them boys were in the thick and thin of a Jordan era. They would never have stood a chance between a Jordan era.
I think Grant Hill would have.
Grant Hill or Shaq. He beat up Shaq. Jordan was beating up Shaq. You can't fucking beat up Shaq.
Yeah, well, nobody was beating Jordan. Nobody beat Jordan.
That's my point. So them boys were in the thick and thin of a Jordan era. They would have been Harold Miners still compared to a Jordan era.
But Grant Hill got
AI changed the mold of a Jordan era.
Yeah, but
For sure.
Grant Hill got hurt kind of early in his career.
He could have been healthy as for fucking an ox.
I don't know,
and
bro.
would have never ever got to the second round of a fucking playoff.
Stop.
With a Jordan there.
Stop.
In a Jordan era from 90s.
They got there.
That's what I'm saying. Stop because Penny and them beat Jordan. Let's not forget that.
The year that Jordan came back from playing baseball, you talking about?
Listen,
They beat Jordan.
man,
I don't.
He was on the court. Stop that.
Yeah, that don't count. Because the next year he definitely came
He was
back.
on the court.
He was on the court.
He came straight from a baseball game.
But if he would have won, if they would have won, it would have counted, right?
No, he came straight from a baseball game in Durham.
That's a lot of the Jordan arguments. Like, well, we don't count that
They don't
year.
count that
But if
year.
he
Straight out of Alabama off of a
That's what I'm saying.
right off a tour bus in Alabama and came and played.
Listen,
Come on,
That was
now.
his decision.
he was there. He was there.
And still
He
went to the
played
chip.
And lost.
I mean, still went to the second round of the
The
playoffs.
only reason I
yeah.
say Grant Hill.
Those guys are
not
great.
because
Let's not be
Rob
clear.
Yeah, no, go ahead.
T-Mac is one of my favorite players.
Yeah.
Antoine Jameson, one of my favorite. These are a lot of Grant Hill.
But even-
all of really good injuries really fucked these boys up. But I
Yeah.
feel like because of the era they were in, I don't know that they would have got to see. For me, the what ifs of that era would be Karl Malone's.
So
He
the
was
list.
robbed. You see what I'm saying? Like
robbed?
he was robbed, brother. His numbers are better than almost everybody in the entire league.
He wasn't robbed. He just couldn't beat
couldn't
Jordan.
beat.
Well, I mean,
Just
what's your boy name? Gary Payton.
Yep.
Another one.
He's on the list. They on the list. The
He's
Supersonics.
right here.
Supersonics, that
But
team.
see, with AI, the only reason I say he's the biggest what is because he didn't have Jordan necessarily. Not that same Jordan anyway. He had Jordan, but he was crossing Jordan up, as we know. See what I'm saying? Like, it wasn't the same Jordan. He had a potential to be, which he was pop culture wise, basketball wise, he didn't get to ever, he won't be mentioned that way. I don't think.
And I feel what you're saying, like from the standpoint of when you're talking about AI, but then like versus like a Grant Hill or a T-Mac. T-Mac never got out of the first round, so we might have to like
individually he's really good.
You know what I'm saying? Individually, he never even got out the first round of the playoffs. So we can kind of, but AI had that team of role players, a defensive-minded team in the finals. You know what I'm saying? Up against arguably, you know what I'm saying, the greatest dynamic duo ever.
and we can take AI back to winning chips in college too. You know what I'm saying? Like the greatness was destined for him. Like, he played in Georgetown with big name team with big stuff. Like the destiny of his greatness was almost like, the same way Kobe's was. You know what I'm saying? So had Kobe never won a ring, it'd be like, damn, what if Kobe went to Charlotte? Like, and he'd never won a ring. This is not to disrespect the Hornets. I'm just saying, which is also another team on my what if, Charlotte Hornets of the Larry Johnson, Alonzo Mourning, Muggsy Bogues era.
Baron Davis in them era too.
That was I don't know if they were projected to go as far. Baron was just good, but the Hornets, they were projected to go.
When it was the
93, that was their time. They were projected on the side of the First Union building. They were projected to blow.
Right.
I agree.
Jordan era.
You know what I'm saying?
Jordan era.
In the Jordan era, man.
They got beat up. Everybody gets beat up in the Jordan era.
Right. Yeah, man. We got to, shout out to the sponsors real quick, man. Shout out to the Inner Elite Network. Yep. Shout out to all of the sponsors that's behind us, man. And y'all showing us love, so we showing y'all love back, man.
Appreciate it, you guys.
Absolutely.
Appreciate it. Yeah. So I'm going to change it up a little bit. I'm going to go into hip hop. And I want to throw out two names real quick. And one of them we already talked about in off air or whatever, but I got to throw out Cannabis.
I knew it was coming.
Bro.
Cannabis. Now, just to give you, boys and girls, just to give you guys a little bit of history about this guy.
Yeah.
We're talking late 90s.
Right.
This dude was like the dude.
Yes.
He had like LeBron James hype
right
before his first album came out.
Right.
Because G's was backing him.
This was a guy that if he got on your song,
it was his song at that point.
He was the first person to start murdering people on their own shit.
Yes.
Like
and made you listen for like 2 minutes. Like people had a 16 bar, 20. No, he didn't have a. There was no 16 or 20. It's 100, and you're gonna listen to it until it's done.
Right.
Yeah.
Period. You're gonna listen.
Yeah, he was probably the most complex, most sophisticated, complex rapper you can argue ever, because his bars, the metaphors, everything was just crazy.
Yeah.
This dude battled LL Cool J,
Right.
And lost.
and you can argue
It was
that
a very good fight.
he won maybe the battle if you take the two songs.
Yeah, he won the
But
battle.
he lost the war. He definitely lost the war, which is part of his
That's why he never really. It was that. Did it. It was that. You know what I'm saying?
That did it.
That's what it was.
And with Eminem, right?
Even with that, by the time they got to that, it was already.
It was over.
Your credit.
Yeah, but you know, this was a guy that he was featured on songs like the 4-3-2-1 song, one of the best posse tracks of all time.
Yep.
He had the best verse on the fucking song. You know what I'm saying? He was on songs with monsters at that time, and he was destroying them.
Yes.
You know, and the album came out, you know, Wyclef had his hands on it, and everybody was like, I don't know. And then the dude just disappeared.
Yeah, I mean, because
just like that.
With the hype that he had, and then the album wasn't that dope. I mean, like, you can go back and listen to it now. You're like, okay, you know, lyrically he giving it to you, but
the album was there. It just you lost.
Well, and he lost, but if you like at that time, I just remember like, okay,
same
you know
album. If he wins the war, same album does very well. Same album.
I don't know, Fresh, because this like one of the things you say like in the time like we know how like okay that's a classic, that's a classic. In the time. With everything else that was coming out, when his album came out, it came
out after he lost. That's the only point I'm making. If he dropped,
people were still checking for. regardless of, I didn't feel like he lost.
I think the album played a part in his loss because the album was whack.
It was.
You know
It wasn't
because LL Cool J said. I remember he said at the end of the rebuttal song, Jack the Ripper Returns or whatever. He said your career will be over next year. His career was over the following year.
Yeah.
Like it was prophetic.
I'm just saying that the album probably was been done. He was the buzz that the Fugees and everybody was giving him, Raucous Records, he was getting free promo a lot. Yeah. So the buzz, he probably already had an album that had already been moist. It already probably been weak. You see what I'm saying? He was building a buzz up for his name. The buzz had got there. This album is already here. My buzz now. This is how artists. This is how you're supposed to walk into artists. I got something prepared. Let me get my buzz up. He did all that and then got knocked all the way down. Then the album had to come out because now I'm wasting my time with you. What are people that I've invested in you? What the fuck? You done got knocked the fuck out. Wyclef done got drug in this shit. What like you know what I mean? What I'm gonna do?
And I feel like, and I don't know this, but you know. With the battle is one thing, but I do kind of feel like especially with the prowess that LL had at that time, we don't know, you know, what doors LL might have shut for him, you know what I'm saying, in his career.
Well, I just think, honestly, that the album just wasn't good.
It wasn't.
I mean, honestly, it just wasn't good.
I won't even say it wasn't good. It didn't live up to the hype that he had.
That for sure.
That's my point.
Because everybody was expecting like Ready to Die, Illmatic. We was expecting 5 mic material at that time.
It seemed it would appear the album was already pre-done. That's the point I'm making about to his credit. It would appear that he already had Wyclef or whoever his backers was already got this ready. Then they said, hold on, this motherfucker can eat some motherfuckers alive. Hold on this album real quick. Put him out here and start busting ass everywhere. Let's get you some features. Let's get you some side money. Then he took a bite off bigger than he can chew, got knocked the fuck out. The investors are now saying, damn, we still got this project. What the fuck? We're going to put it out there. We ain't going to put no money behind it. We ain't going to put no singles out it. So now this shit going to just trash and tank.
Yeah.
That's what you kind of did.
Yeah. I have to probably do some research on that. But, I mean, you know, long story short, though, he didn't cash in.
I agree. He's definitely a big what if for sure.
He definitely didn't cash in, and I was disappointed.
Yeah,
and then he came back out and got embarrassed. With his rap book, or something crazy shit.
I was pulling
on
up
the internet. This is the internet era now. He came out with his rap book and got fucked up.
He kind of like I don't know if y'all remember when Roy Jones was on top of the world. Then once Roy took that L, Roy sunk crazy fast. Cannabis the same way. That dude took that L and it was over from there. You know?
And the crazy thing is, like, to this day, I listened to Second Round Knockout a little while ago. Like, he won that. It's like
the songs.
Yeah. Like, it wasn't even close. Yeah. He had Mike Tyson on the fucking track, bro.
Yeah. It's true.
Like, and he murdered that.
It was very good sparring right there.
I'm gonna let the world know the truth. Come on, man. He came out like, God damn.
Now I want to throw out one other name real quick. And this guy, unfortunately, his life was cut short, but Big L. Big L.
Yeah.
This guy was on the cusp.
Right.
Because at the time of his passing, and you guys correct me if I'm wrong, there was rumors going out that he was going to join the Rockefeller.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
You know, so he was going to, there was talks of him being added to the GOAT's label at the time when Rockefeller was at its peak.
Right. Yeah.
So Big L would have had Kanye West, Just Blaze, the top production in hip hop.
Right.
I feel with Big L, I love Big L. I feel like the same way I felt about when we were talking about the legs. I don't think that, like, with as far as my opinion on Grant Hills and stuff like that. I don't know that in the era of what people were getting better and better that L would have. L comes from a very stubborn era of people. The Diamond D's of hip hop. These guys, they're very hard to change what they want to do. It's hard for them to grow. You know, when Jay-Z grew, and a lot of reasons we can keep saying the word Jay-Z is because the only reason is because of growth. If Jay-Z still rap like Reasonable Doubt, Jay-Z is not who he is to this day.
But who's to say that Big L wouldn't have?
I don't know. I don't know that. I agree.
That's what I'm saying.
I agree.
It's a big.
It's a what if. That's what makes it a what if.
He had the talent.
That's what makes it a
what if. He had the talent. He had creativity. Ebonics for boys and girls. Looked that song up. Very clever. Very creative.
So here's my thing, right? So with him, we have to say, damn, could he have ever done that? My what if would be Big Pun. We've watched Big Pun do all of that before he died. We've seen him go hardcore, R&B, Fat Boy Lover, spiritual, soulful. Even though he got his flowers while he was 2 million, we don't know that he could not have done the ridiculous numbers because of bilingual. Speaking, this is what 6ix9ine his numbers is so retarded right now. When you go into another world of people that you don't no longer have to please black rap anymore and still be where you're at, the numbers, the reason he went 2 million that early was not just black. Black jumped on it. You really was a strong hip hop person, because really, it wasn't even everywhere that was respected at the time. It was really a hip hop purist at first. That's what really loved them. Then as a hip hop purist, then you say, okay.
So you know what, Pun might be better because we got a taste
of what he could have, what he actually could have been,
and then he was gone.
And but at the same time, I'm like. But we're talking about that actually like never won the chip. Like Pun did it. Like he went he was the first Latin artist to go platinum. So it's not like he didn't. It's not like he didn't. It just got cut short to where it would have been. He would have gone even to another level.
That's my point. Because I think he would have, because he had a 3-year music career. 97 to 99,
and it was tough.
97 to a 2-year run. That's a strong run. So that's like being the best. That's like being the junior in the school. And Jason Parks. If anybody from Charlotte, this dude at the time was tough. I mean, super duper tough. And everybody packed out to see him play ball. That was tough. After that, it slows up. See what I'm saying? So when things slow up, it's like, damn. Or now, unfortunately, in Pun's situation, he died. So we don't know if he could have went to 8 million, 10 million outcast numbers, things of these kind of nature that, Fat Joe is still relevant to this day, who was behind him to this day.
Well, I say not because
it helped. It helped. It absolutely helped.
Him being around Pun helped Joe significantly.
But Joe being in the thick of thin of an originator of hip hop and still being able to be relevant to this day, making music with young cats, young producers.
So bring up your point about Big L. Fat Joe, they were all DITC. So Fat Joe evolved. Fat Joe got like 2 monstrous songs under his resume. You know what I'm saying?
Wait.
Way more.
Only 2?
I'm about to say like.
I think.
And you talking about top 40 stuff? That
I'm thinking like Lean Back. That's top 40. I'm talking
all the way up, and this is just recent.
All the way up.
But that's after 30 years of being in the game.
So that's what I'm saying. Big L, they from the same crew.
Right.
So Big L. And Big L lyrically was way better than Fat Joe.
Here's the difference. The only reason I bring up Pun is the bilingual. When you're Hispanic, you can also appeal. Like, see, as black, we can appeal to Hispanic. It's not, but they're also, we love them. But their culture also is going to love them as well, because they not just like Pun had the Puerto Rico. He spoke in Spanish on the whole verse.
Pun
and did you try to say
in like the 2000s? Pun would have been perfect for that era.
I mean, because even if you look at this, I mean, he had everything. He had the hardcore street shit. And then, like I said, then he went to the "It's so hard." You know what I'm saying? I don't want to be a player no more.
Made you dance.
I don't want to be a player no more with Joe. I remember when that was ringing off. We was outside in the club.
He got so many hits.
Oh my God. It's timeless.
And you're looking at now, had he gone, imagine if Joe is in the space that he's in now with the artists and Scott Storches that came through and the Lil Waynes and the Cash Money, everything that Joe has went through. Imagine if Pun had a taste of any of that. Because Joe needs credit for a lot of people's success. Khaled's, even though partial Wayne's, because of what he bridged, the gaps that he bridged for these people. You know what I'm saying? Like
I think it was.
And Make It Rain song.
I think it was Steve Stout. I can't remember. He was saying how Joe was like, if he was just like a full blown A&R or something like that, he would be like, because he was able to see talent. His eye for seeing talent is exceptional. And to this, so Joe. Big up to Fat Joe.
Khaled's under Joe's lineage, which we know it's
we know that. I feel like, and whenever we do the underrated, like I really don't feel like Joe gets enough respect because he's literally still relevant to this day.
Absolutely. He's definitely one of the what ifs. What I can't even say what ifs because he's there. He's there. Not even a what if.
You know what I'm saying? Like he's been relevant for, like you say, 20, 30 years now. You know what I'm saying? If you can drop some shit right now and I'm checking for it.
Album. One thing I loved about Joe, which he's showed me to release so much, is Joe works with young people. I mean,
absolutely.
As hard as hardcore hip hop, and from the era he is in, you'd be like, God damn, Joe, why the fuck you always with them? It makes good music, bro.
Right.
It makes good music. What I bring, what they bring, it combines great. And it's not denying that. And that allowed me to give other people new shots because I'm like, damn, this dude is hardcore. I mean, he's from the Bronx. Like, the origin of hip hop is where he's from. You would never think that he would want to be making it rain. But yet, that gap bridged everybody to feel comfortable enough to make it rain and feel comfortable to say whether it's $1 or it's $100. You felt comfortable saying it because it felt good at the time. You know what I'm saying? So
I was gonna go back to that was a reference to this episode 7 conversation that we were having. But no, I was gonna go back to Ball right quick. One of the when you sent me on the IG, like, hey man, squad that we can look back at now, and it's like, damn, they actually didn't win though. Everybody always calls them the Baby Thunder, but OKC, bro, they had 3 MVPs on their squad.
I mean, they had all baby rookies too.
They wasn't rookies though.
2 years in.
They wasn't rookies.
They were 2 years in.
3 years. I don't think they were much more than 2, 3. All 3 of them piece.
None of them were.
They went to the finals, bro.
Yeah, against LeBron.
You know what I'm saying? Like, went to the finals. Yeah. Like, they was tough. Yeah, they were tough. You know what I'm saying? Like, because you got to. They had 3 MVPs on their team.
Was the changing of the guards when you know, because every few years, young people come and overcome older cats.
Right.
So that older cats at the time was Kobe's and Duncan's, and, you know, this was this foundation, people that you can count on with your eyes closed. That new foundation came in.
And we saying, like, what if? We're kind of seeing a what if. Like, I feel like it kind of had to happen the way it did. But we're seeing now, like,
what if they stood together and got it together, they would have been fucking
right, because we see what KD and Harden are doing now together. Like, Jesus Christ.
If they could have figured out all how to play on the same team for 5 to 7 more years.
Oh, man.
It'd be, I mean, LeBron probably would be diminished a little bit more because it'd be so overpowering with them. Yeah. And not to take nothing away from LeBron.
Right, no.
The overpoweringness of saying these three who nobody even thought was going to be superstars. You know what I'm saying? You're talking about a beardless James Harden. You know, a 182-pound KD, and Westbrook was like, just a fast guy. You know what I mean? Yeah. So, but again, to their credit, they had Ibaka, some other cats. You know what I'm saying?
They had, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. They just, and part of it too was some of it was
Oklahoma's
bad
a new franchise too.
Yeah, I mean, some of it's because they had some injuries that happened at some very bad times. You know what I mean? Yeah. So, but they just never reached their full potential.
Right. Yeah. Even after James Harden left, them boys had Steph in them down 3-1.
Yes.
Like, people got to, you know what I'm saying? Like, I think that kind of gets glossed over.
Yeah.
Like, when they talk about the fact that KD went over to Golden State. They were up 3-1 on Golden State. The year Golden State won 73 games, man. Let's not, we can't gloss over that.
Mark Jackson.
A whole nother episode.
I'm going to throw a real stinger to L real quick. The biggest what if, Patrick Ewing.
Oh,
that's gonna hurt his feelings. Ooh, that's gonna hurt him. He don't even want to talk about that one. Let's move on. Move forward.
That Knicks team, you know,
they were.
Look at the face. See, certain shit just not funny, y'all. Certain shit just not fucking funny.
Why y'all keep bringing up old shit?
Why did he finger roll it, man?
Yo, listen.
Why did he finger roll it?
And this is an influential man. You talking about in New York? Everybody was wearing Patrick Ewing at the time.
Patrick Ewing had shoes.
No, I'm talking about yellow ones, red ones, blue ones, white ones.
At one point in time, where Ewings and Jordans were kind of neck and neck. Now you're like, get the fuck out of here.
I don't know about worldwide, but
in New York, in the city, at one point in time. But yeah, the Knicks, man, we had plenty of opportunities, man.
That was the one.
Fucked them all.
Latrell was one of my favorite players prior to Kobe.
We had
him too. What if?
And we had Jordan down 2-0 one year. That was the year Charles Smith. I mean, we had plenty of opportunities, man. We had plenty, and we fucked all of them up.
And then Jordan left, and then it was like,
and we still fucked it up.
Went to the finals and just couldn't get it.
That was the what if part right there.
Game 7.
That was the what if. Yeah, that year and that Allen Houston year was a really good. That was a really good solid team.
We had some of our collapses were terrible. Like
absolutely,
you had the Charles Smith layup getting block shit.
Yeah.
That to this day.
Haunts you.
To this day.
You wake up with cold sweat, don't you?
To this day,
Cold
I get
sweat.
mad about that shit.
He had like two opportunities at the rim.
He had like 4. You're
Cold
6'10". Dunk the shit.
Yeah.
Don't lay that shit. Dunk that
Absolutely.
shit. Yeah, man. So you had that.
still in his
Yeah.
bag with that
I
shit.
can feel it. God, who the fuck said Charles? Huh? Nobody say Charles out here no more. All right?
And then the following year, John Starks goes 2 for 18,
Right.
game 7, boom.
Right.
Year after that, that was the Reggie Miller scored the 8 points in 2 seconds. And then the finger roll shit. Man, don't get me started. Who brought that? You brought that shit up,
baby. I'm gonna give you 2 more.
The instigator, he threw that in there just for you.
Old Chucky, baby. It's a big what if.
People do not understand how much of an animal Charles Barkley was.
And that Jordan really was like,
Shit.
yo, this nigga can play. You see what I'm saying? That's somebody that he say, yo, this nigga. And Reggie, the Dream Killer.
Yeah.
The Nick Killer. The Nick Killer.
You got to put Reggie in there.
Right. Reggie was the
What ifs?
Reggie, I can put him top 2. I don't even like to say 3 sometimes in shooting.
Yeah, he literally is top 3 in shooting.
Purist.
Absolutely.
Steph me him.
Steph just passed him.
Yeah, because
Steph
you I mean, I think Steph is recognized as
Yeah, you
the
take
best
right now
shooter.
to pick
Then
up
after that,
prime
you're
Steph.
arguing between
Prime
Reggie and
Steph
Ray
or
Allen
prime
or something like
Prime
that.
Steph or Prime Reggie, who you pick up?
I got Prime Steph.
Prime Steph.
Prime Steph because he can actually create his own shot.
There you go.
Reggie
go.
created shots, 3 of them in 3 seconds.
Steph is different.
Hello.
Matter of fact,
And one is taller.
Steph-
One can get up higher with longer
Steph just
arms.
scored, I think, 57 last night.
Right. And that's it.
Last night.
I say
Hold on.
Has Steph ever played anybody that would physically fucking try to hurt him like that? Like the way the boys
They didn't
play.
play in the air.
And still do what he did.
My thing-
Still do what he did.
it's a different era.
It's a different era, and the reason I'm gonna go with Fresh as far as prime Reggie is because he was in the fucking Jordan era. That
Jordan era, bro.
that like he was
in an era of great people. He was not.
Yes.
He went to the finals. He wasn't just like a great 3-point shooter.
Right.
There's plenty of great 3-point
Right.
shooters. Craig Hodges was a great fucking 3-point
Right.
shooter. This guy took his team to the chip
Right.
and to the playoffs every year that he was
Yeah.
there after his second year.
I'll give you this. In the playoffs, I'll take Reggie Miller over Steph Curry.
Well, that's when it counts.
Which is when it counts.
That's
So
when it
I
counts.
guess in theory,
you
yeah.
would go with prime Reggie.
Yeah,
Going
because
prime Reggie,
Reggie, Reggie,
He was a killer.
Because Reggie, he chill out during the
Steph
regular
has
season.
never been a
Playoffs,
personal-
Reggie got it going. Yeah.
You knew that he was called Reggie was the,
That's a
not
good
to be
one.
funny. The Nick Killer, but
That's a
it was
good
because
one.
that it was a fear. It wasn't nobody was scared of him, but it was just like
No, we were scared of
it
him.
was like God damn it.
We was
look,
scared of him.
We talking about
Ask
man,
motherfucking Spike Lee.
motherfucking shooting 3 point
Spike Lee had to
three
get his ass
times
going
in 3
that one
seconds.
game.
Right.
Like how many times you gonna fucking shoot in 3 seconds, bro?
Yeah.
How many times
No,
you shoot
you
and make
feared
it
Reggie
in?
Miller. Yeah, Reggie Miller.
And then look,
Right.
hit you
yeah,
with
yeah,
that.
And then he talk shit to you. Yeah,
Right.
yeah,
Like,
yeah.
I
So
mean,
that's
yo.
a good one. I might have to take. prime
And
Reggie
the
Miller.
only reason he ran up against like another
All these cats.
he ran as far as when he got his chance in the championship.
Ran up against
he
Kobe.
ran up against
Kobe.
Kobe and shot.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? So it's like, I mean, like when you running up
That's
against
a what if. See, that's a what if. Because like, goddamn, I got through Jordan. I'm old enough.
Right.
Jordan's finally out of here. I'm good. Kobe.
Right.
What the fuck?
Right.
What's this?
Right.
No. Jordan gone. It's my.
It's the new Jordan.
God
new,
almighty. I'm done.
improved Jordan.
Retired. I retire. Fuck it. I'm out of here, man. Go coach.
So I got another what if for y'all, and this is gonna take people back. It's gonna take us back. Len Bias.
My
man.
My man, the young buck.
Yeah.
The young buck did his homework.
So
That's what I'm
you know,
talking about.
I'm a sports fanatic, man, and my uncle's rest one of my uncle's soul, man. He used to always talk about Len Bias
always.
and how dominant he was.
Yeah. He was
This
on
dude was LeBron back in the 80s, before LeBron was even thought about.
Yeah.
Can I say something?
This nigga was 6'8".
Here you go.
Yeah, please do. 'Cause I got
something.
Please do.
Okay. This is no discredit to Len. Obviously, we
It
talking about
sounds
what
like-
is
it now?
Sounds
What
like
is?
you're about to discredit him.
Yeah,
now.
you about to, yeah.
Yeah, I know.
I'm getting ready to say
When somebody say
he compared it to Jordan.
I'm not a racist, but I'm gonna say some racist shit right now. Go
Right.
ahead.
He compared him to Jordan, which we're all in
Right.
agreement being the GOAT, right?
Right.
There's a couple of people that were drafted before Jordan.
Yeah.
Sam Perkins. I mean, there's people that were considered to be better than him that did not come out to be better than him. With Len's, the only reason I don't have the biggest what if, he didn't actually play in the league.
He didn't.
And that's
That's
the
the
problem.
that's the biggest
Well,
what
I mean,
if.
shit. I mean, college, being the biggest college is
he was about to
be
go-
compared to Jordan. I mean, you have to go
And he was
there.
about to go to play with Larry
He was
Bird.
projected to
Yeah,
be
he was going
the
to the
guy.
Celtics.
He was going to the Celtics.
School him.
If you
Educate
played
this
one
man.
year, I would
Let
give
him
it to
know.
him. Just
Let
1
him
year in the
know.
league,
Let him know.
I'd have more credit for it if he had just 1 year in the league.
I
Never
agree.
ever played in the league to compare it to the a Jordan. What if? I don't know. A great what if? I can go with that. Jordan, what if? I don't know because there were people that were better than Jordan in Jordan's time,
Right.
that did not end up being better
Absolutely.
than Jordan when it was over with.
But in Jordan's time in college, Len Bias was better than all those guys you're talking about.
James Worthy was supposed to be the best player in the world at
He
that
was.
time.
Yeah.
Well,
Sam,
James Worthy was better
Sam
than
Perkins
right
too.
up there with Len
Sam
Bias.
Perkins, the big smooth people don't like. These
Absolutely.
people were all drafted before Jordan. What was the other cat?
Sam Bowie.
Bowie. Look, you see what I'm saying? Now, we can easily say Sam Bowie and Len Bias could have easily been one. Glenn Robinson, big dog of our era, one of the biggest checks we ever seen. We thought that was Larry Jackson. You know,
But I
these are
think-
cats.
But
Len
Big,
Bias
these
was
are-
on it.
Len Bias was just different.
He was a
man.
different level, man.
I mean, the guy
You
was
gotta-
a 2-time ACC player, 2 times
Yeah.
ACC, which was the ACC.
That
Was,
you know what I'm
was, the,
saying?
was the
Yeah.
conference.
There's a guy named Jordan running around in that conference.
Right,
There's
right.
Ralph
At
Sampson.
that time,
Yeah,
right.
yeah. Like he was a 2-time ACC player of the year. He was All-American.
We
He
do
was
know
first-
college players don't always live up to
No,
NBA.
no.
This is a
yeah,
1 million
no, no,
percent
no,
fact. That's the only reason I'm
absolutely.
believing
But
that.
he was can't miss, and he was going to the Celtics.
Celtics.
To the Celtics.
So he didn't have to go in there and lead it. He was going to the Celtics.
Right.
This dude was a monster.
A monster.
The fact that he's in the conversation of who was better in college, and to your point, he didn't make it to the league. So yeah, we don't know. He could have crashed and
Right.
burned. But for what was actual at the time, he was in that conversation
Yeah,
of
right.
him and Jordan.
This is not a disagreement.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
just saying we can put a lot of people who've had monumental talent in college, monumental talent
Very true.
that had disgusting
Yeah,
numbers
they were
in the NBA.
duds. They were
Christian
duds.
Leitner.
Duds.
Yeah.
Christian Leitner.
Monumental numbers.
Yeah,
I mean,
duds. They were
but soon as they come
duds,
to the NBA, they have been duds. The NBA can change you to make it break it.
Very true.
That's the only reason I held back on that just a tiny bit because
Very true.
we have monumental college numbers
agree.
on
Right.
people
Very true.
that in the NBA, these people like, hold on, you did what? And then vice versa, you have some people
Yeah.
that was fucking 6th round. Isaiah Thomas Jr. I mean, you know, this motherfucker's at 5'4" that just had the heart of the champion.
I just think to Charm's point, I mean,
Yeah.
Len Bias was just somebody
for sure could've been what if he made it to the league.
If you invest, he would have been a guy you would have invested in.
Right, you putting every dollar on it,
There
yeah.
wouldn't have been no.
Right.
You would have went in on this guy if you were invested. If you said,
How does
I
he
need
play
some
on
stock
how
in
well
Bias.
does he play on a Larry Bird team that's catered to a
Well-
white style of play when this is not what he played? No, this is not be
A
funny.
white style of play.
There wasn't a
Larry Bird was just a baller. I don't
no.
think it was a
The
white
Celtics. We talking about
style.
the Celtics. I ain't talking about Larry
That's
Bird.
what I'm saying.
Yeah,
Well,
but the Celtics is not just Larry Bird. There was a whole bunch of other people on that team.
Right.
The whole game plan was shuffle to him, shuffle to him, shuffle to him,
'Cause
or
he
they
was
get
that
down to the
guy.
back. So then now, how do you put that in there? How do those
Larry
two coincide?
Bird with Len Bias.
How do those two coincide?
Jesus
Larry Bird
Christ.
had,
Because they're the same position players.
it was on record that Larry Bird was like, yo, we
Yeah.
getting Len Bias. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah. It's
He
over.
was- I feel like I'm ready.
I'm like, see, I
Yeah,
gotta step back a
because
little bit.
because
This nigga's about to be Jordan.
keep in mind they weren't playing like ISO ball and all the other stuff.
Right.
So if you would have, it's like when KD went to the Warriors. You know, KD was perfect. You know, because
Right.
he didn't have. So it would have been.
We got same.
It would have been just on predictions. It would have kind of been like that. It would have been like getting KD to go to the Warriors because this is back in the mid '80s when the
Right.
Celtics were. It was
Yeah.
them or
Right.
the Lakers.
Right.
That was it. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
And you
Yeah.
talking about getting a player like Len Bias, who was a LeBron type player
Yeah,
now,
6'8",
unstoppable,
yeah.
couldn't nobody out jump him.
Yeah.
He was bigger than everybody.
Yeah.
Well, my only thing was to that on that team, he played a lot of positions of people that
Yeah.
were all stars
That
as
were
well.
all-stars as well,
All stars
yeah.
already,
Absolutely.
not regular players. He played on a position that all stars already had a slot at.
Yeah.
This is where it becomes difficult because just being great and playing a team player,
Right.
Allen Iverson, there's a lot of proof that being great on a team does not mean the team will be great. And if that's the case, you're going to be Iverson, which means you have no ring, but you can be considered great.
Right.
See what I'm saying? Now, legendary means that the rings are here, that we can go back. Iverson can't ever go back to Philadelphia and see a ring, an old ring. You know what I'm saying? It's just
Right.
not going to happen. He
Right.
can see accolades of being, whatever he did and the checks he made. He can never walk back there besides going to college. You see what I'm saying? The reason I say when I hear Jordan, I'm like, shit, there was people that was proclaimed to be better than Jordan at the time.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? And they just did not live up to that hype. You see what I'm saying? And
Right.
and there's some people that were really as good as Jordan, like Chuck, like,
Right.
that people I just mentioned, like, oh, these motherfuckers was these motherfuckers was great. You know what I'm saying? They were great, but they just couldn't beat Jordan. You know what I mean?
So yeah, man, we real quick want to give a shout out to the sponsors, man. We appreciate y'all for what y'all do. And we're gonna keep this heat coming for y'all. Shout out to the Inner Elite Network for allowing us to keep this thing pushing, man. So yeah, man.
So hold on, I want to go somewhere for the movie film director.
There we go.
Pop culture.
There we go.
Pop culture. We always in the sports, and sometimes that's just our world, it's other people's world. I want to go to the movie world, and pop culture is something that everybody can speak on.
Yeah.
One of the biggest what ifs in urban culture for me would be Mr. Legendary, iconic Arsenio Hall.
Oh man!
I mean, because nobody got to see the Arsenio Hall show, they didn't know that Bill Clinton, Farrakhan, Michael Jackson, Mike Tyson, Eddie Murphy, every single fucking person you can think of that is a legend. He interviewed. He interviewed first one with the talk show. I mean, right hand man of one of the arguably our best comedian that we know of. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I mean, great movies, good side gigs, but just you don't mention his name in great conversations that much.
You're right.
But as far as, I mean, I'm a big aficionado of old school shit. So, every time I see a clip of freaking Arsenio Hall show, I'm like, bruh, I just said Bill Clinton, Minister Farrakhan, Mike Tyson, Eazy-E. Those are just like Jackson. Top 40 names. I ain't even talking about the regular names that we all know. Talking about names that white people would know, Asian people would know. These names, every single person in America and beyond America that was known on the news or television or had something to say came through Arsenio Hall's show. And pop culture and everything.
And to give context, this is early 90s. There was only two guys. That industry was white male dominated.
Yep.
You had Johnny Carson and Letterman.
Yep.
Tonight Show.
Tonight Show. Yeah.
Jay Leno.
Yeah.
Late Show. Well, he came later.
Leno came after Carson. Yeah. So just to give people context, this is a white male dominated from forever.
Yeah.
Not just that. Like
this is Revolt. Yeah. What Revolt is now, what he was doing, giving us all the culture.
Yeah.
To your point. Yeah. He was giving us all our culture.
Yeah. So he was a pioneer because he just wasn't an old white guy doing a late night show that popped. Yeah. And he introduced the nation to, again, you got President Bill. He wasn't Bill Clinton was
who played the fucking saxophone
on the show. Billy Clinton.
Right.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
A whole section things to make you go, pop culture, white people, gay people, regular people. He had everybody. He didn't discriminate. A full culture. What do you think people was doing this from?
Right.
Yo.
And then for hip hop to have artists on the late night, there wasn't no platform for you know what I'm saying? Not like that. So Arsenio Hall show and him as an individual, man, definitely.
Yeah, and it's like what was the you know what I'm saying? Like what
well, I mean, reason? When you start looking, it's 20 years later, you start looking at stories, it was riffraff shit, too much money, women, like, I read a bunch of shit about him and Eddie kind of having fallen out, and then it could have been blackballed based on that kind of the time, and then at the point, if you're free, you don't have to always need to be popular. You see what I'm saying? So sometimes if you've had a good long run and you had the freedom, there's no reason to have to say, like you said, because when it's ugly, then those questions come up. Now you have to expose the ugliness. You see what I'm saying?
Real quick, I'm glad you brought up Arsenio because here's somebody that could have went that same path but came back huge, Dave Chappelle.
Oh,
because Dave Chappelle, he had once the Chappelle show hit, it was getting higher too.
Right.
And then he took the hiatus, you know what I'm saying? And he could have been
he would have been the biggest what if.
No, he would have been the big because if he didn't come back, now he's come back strong.
Well, let me ask you this though: that ran a long time. Does he really consider what if?
He it was only 2 seasons.
I thought it was 3.
It might have been 2.
No, actually, I think it's 5 seasons.
No, it wasn't 5. It definitely wasn't 5.
Let me look.
I want to say it would have been like maybe 1 or 2 seasons, and that third season is when that's when he left.
The syndication means 100 episodes, right?
Right.
I'm thinking he got 100 episodes.
He wasn't a syndication because
they just removed him, right? He just asked himself to be removed based on not being paid, right?
Yeah, but that wasn't syndication though. That was just pretty much the licensing. Like they got the license to actually
keep on replaying.
He had 3 seasons.
3.
His first one year 04, 05, 06.
Yeah, and that third one was the one. The beginning of the third season is when he actually left. Right. So he really wasn't. Yeah, he had shot it already, but it was kind of like
So to your point, he could have went that direction, but he.
Well, let's say this. Do you think he's bigger now than he was then? I don't.
Yes.
Yes.
You think so?
Without question.
But I think part of that is
because of that,
of how everything of the whole lore. Like his show was classic, right?
Funny,
so then you talk about like, because we can look back now at the story, like, all right, it was a classic show. He, left the show. When you decide like, I'm leaving my own show because he didn't agree with how they wanted to portray and this and that, he stepped away from all of that. They tried to make him look crazy. They say he was smoking crack, all of that, right? We can look back at it now, and then when his reemergence, and then him coming back doing it the same way he wants to do it, and Netflix give you this bag from 40 to 60 million, right? So you recoup, so you got everything that you would have had then, and now his place in history, I feel like is set. Like right now, like Dave Chappelle, it's to the point to where, like the difference between him and like a Kevin Hart, like Dave Chappelle can actually do a special and not even be telling jokes, right? But we sitting there and we locked in, like,
I think to that credit, I feel like Dave Chappelle is more of a comedian's comedian, and
absolutely
Kevin Hart is more of an actor's comedian, which means he doesn't necessarily want to make the joke as good as Chappelle does. He wants to be the movie for the whole thing, which neither one is wrong in my opinion.
I think Chappelle's kind of in that tree of Richard Pryor and
George Carlin.
Yeah. So
and
those guys, so those guys,
they were comedians.
They were comedians, but they talked about the subjects that other comedians don't really talk about. You know what I'm saying? So they were like, I like to throw Chris Rock in there too.
Yeah.
I only say that because even though Richard Pryor, I don't think that Richard Pryor would go down for his movies. He would go down for his comedy. Like, I don't think that if you reach back, I mean, you're a real 80s aficionado. You know about the Toy and Harlem Nights and stuff, but that's credit to Eddie. But Richard Pryor movies, you don't have that. You're not pulling that up. You hear no evil, see no. I mean, you got to be an aficionado. You got to be an aficionado. I'm just saying. You're gonna pull up Live on the Sunset Strip. You're going to talk about his comedy first. So comedians, Kevin Hart's, and you're looking at. He wants to be a movie. I want to make movies laugh. I might not be able to keep you focused for 35 minutes like Chappelle or Richard Pryor. So I just said that was where I see the both of them. One of them is not necessarily comedian. One is an actor's comedian, which this is not a negative thing. I'm just saying one is strictly, if I'm in a movie, I'm in a movie. I mean, Dave Chappelle's biggest movie is what? Robin Hood Men in Tights? You know what I'm saying? Half-baked. Yeah. I mean, and that, so these are not things that go down for legendary classic stuff and pop for urban culture. Yeah, urban culture, but
you know what I'm saying, in the weeds
top 40 world when we talk about stuff that kind of stuff. Right. Yeah. So
I just
it's more of a cult classic.
Cult. Yeah, that's the word I'm looking for.
But I just think Chappelle's stock skyrocketed once he came back from his hiatus. I think that now he's mentioned in different conversations.
Do you think that he falls off had he stayed on the Chappelle show?
That's hard to say.
I don't. If he would have went the direction,
does he retire the same way? If he stayed, does he retire the same way? We know where we at right now. We saying that he's where he wants to be right now. Does he go out the same way had he stayed?
I don't know. That's a big what if. I mean, because with the trajectory that his show was on, like the boy was killing it. You know what I'm saying? So we don't know. But like I said, I feel like part of the lure with him now is because how everything went down, and we've seen this. The reemergence, and we like, yo, he stood for something. He stuck to his guns. You know what I'm saying? I think that's part of his lure now, to where he's like, I'm me. I'm unapologetically me, and I don't give a fuck what nobody got to say. And that's what we that's what we love about him. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. He just doesn't give a fuck.
Like he's gonna tell you exactly what
beauty of it. That's the beauty of it. So
they say it's humor and pain, and what most of those comedians have in common is, even though it's funny, the reason he left is because of the pain. You're laughing at my fucking pain. Dude. I'm sitting there telling you that y'all racist and killing me, even though it's fucking, it's not funny to us. It's like, it's like when you laugh, LOL, you dead serious face. You know what I'm saying? It's like, all right, I'm trying to not fucking flip, but you really laughing as if this is hilarious.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? Like the fucking pain.
That's what he said.
Bro, I know I just said that niggas ain't shit, but I ain't expect you to laugh this fucking hard. You know what I mean? Like, hold on.
He felt like they was laughing at him and not with him.
Which is very true, because when you have when you're all black, you know what you're talking to.
Right.
When he's never been all black. He's never claimed to say I'm, this, that, and 30. It's like, yo, I am from here. I'm from Cleveland. I'm from my friends have been white. My friends have been or DC, I'm sorry, wherever he's from. But my friends have been this, that, and the third. I've been here, da da da. So cool. The pressure of him having to always protect to do stuff he did Robin Hood Men in Tights. That would not have been anything Eddie would have done, or any other comedians that we consider legend. Bernie Mac, nobody that we consider legend. I'm pretty sure they all had an option to do it. They all said no. See what I'm saying? So he never was that, and that fearlessness of worrying to have to worry about black people all the time. he didn't have that pressure.
No, he didn't.
He didn't have that pressure, right? So if he continues, you know, and you're sitting there talking to, feeling like your best friend is white, your best friend is black, you don't know, his friends don't know if you're laughing. It's a tough thing. I felt that was one of his biggest walls he kept busting into. And it's a tough wall when you have multicultural friends because you don't know if they understand that your pain is pain, even though I'm giving it as humor.
Right.
But this shit hurt, bro.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And if you laughing so goddamn hard, you know, it's one thing to chuckle. And you know, a little chuckle. Okay, maybe that might have been. I don't know if I was supposed to laugh, but you, golly, he called him a nigga.
Right.
You know,
real quick, just for some of our younger viewers, some of our younger listeners, viewers. Let's take it to hip hop real quick because I know we've had within the last few years a lot of young, promising artists that have unfortunately passed away. I wanted to get you guys' thoughts on some of the guys like. Pop Smoke.
We can start right there.
Yeah.
Like he like that's a big what if because like his music is crazy, his voice, his energy, like how he puts the songs together. Like I don't even know who you're gonna say after that, but out of all of those, like Pop Smoke, man, like
I said, and to be fair, I didn't hear much of his music. Just being fair, the beats didn't do it for me. Lyrically, I heard he was pretty decent. You know, I've heard a few things, but to have enough information to get and with none of those younger deceased artists, am I going to have enough information to give a thing? But from watching The Outside In, the cat that got killed in Florida,
XXX. Yeah, that's what I was
now him
too.
From the people that were speaking of him, he seemed to be larger than life. Now I don't know anything about his songs or anything, but he seemed to have been larger than life. And even with Pop, I felt like Pop kind of emerged because there's a lot of what was going on with him, with a lot of Brooklyn drill rap kind of rappers and artists and stuff like that, which kind of merged with the London feel and you know, and a Chicago feel, kind of blitzed together. But Pop probably was just the more aggressive one out of there. But there's a lot of cats from what I watch now that I can see that have a little that was there before him, with him, and after him a little bit. So I don't, you know, but the cat in what's the name? I don't know anybody that have been compared to him at all.
He might have been the guy that probably would have had, because I think he was only like 20.
He's only 21 years young.
Yeah.
Both of them cats was under 21.
Yeah. So these guys
was young too.
They were real young, but just the fact that his content, you know, I'm a big content person. He was talking about things like mental health issues and
Pop Smoke was
yeah. So he was, you know, digging not to say that he would have been this guy, but you know, you kind of felt like a little bit of a Tupac feel with him.
That's what people were saying.
That's the only reason I'm mentioning because I've seen that comparison. I'm like, how the fuck is that a comparison? I don't know anything about it, but
he had. Now he was, to my knowledge, he wasn't. You know, Tupac was revolution, pro-black, so on and so forth. But just the feel, you know, Pac gave you feel.
Tupac at 22 may keep your head up. The entire world knew that. When this guy died, I still don't know of a major song of him. That's the difference why it was hard for me to understand. Tupac died at 25. At 22, he had already made songs that the world knows.
Again, I mentioned I don't want to put.
No, I'm agreeing with. I'm agreeing with people compared him. I was confused how.
Yeah, I'm just saying that he had, from an older person, and I don't know every song the kid made, but you know, the feel was Tupac. It reminded me of Tupac. You know, so that might have been somebody who could have been a very influential, very major person in hip hop now that unfortunately died young. So I just wanted to throw his name out there, especially for a lot of the younger people that are tuning in. So yeah,
I can agree.
Yeah. So
I still would go with Nip, even though
Nip. Jeez,
that's
you know,
that's for me.
Nip,
for me, that you know, out of all the ones that died,
that's
you know,
a great one.
Even though we saw what his album was able to do, you know, he's still selling now. I just feel like the influence that he had on hip hop culture and just the country itself. I mean, when Nip died, man, the whole country mourned. Like,
man, it's serious.
And then, you know, his music, man. Like, for me, it's his music, his voice, his entrepreneurship, everything that he was into.
The business savvy.
All of that, man.
He was in a relationship. You know, so it was, in my opinion, what hip hop needed. We needed Nip. Especially for the younger. We needed a guy like Nip to be around to show you, you know.
No, I ain't mean to cut you. I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
Just to y'all credit, the thing with Nip for me was the reason why I can give him such a strong stamp is because, to be honest, I was never on Nip prior to to the victory lap.
Right.
I can be very fair with myself. I'm a very good hip hop person. Right. I've seen them through because again, now mind you, through the 2000s became such an overwhelming amount of hip hop that come through DVD era. Right. You can get 50 DVDs at a time. So much stuff is coming in and out. I'm not saying that he didn't, scroll through, just didn't hit my radar that high at all until he became himself. Till he got the first time he hit my radar is when he sold $100 mixtape, and I still didn't even hit a mixtape. I was so impressed with him knowing that I can make $100,000 by doing it. That was impressive. I don't care about talent as much as I care about knowing how to make the business work with your talent. If you're talented, again, I bring up Isaiah Rodgers, Harmon, bro. At the time, you never seen somebody dunk like that. Then you nigga couldn't even do it a year 2. It's like, oh, okay, the business ain't right. Now let's hopefully that you don't fall out this game and you ain't got a dime to your name, which they did. So that's part to me was way different than me knowing that he wasn't, or I didn't feel that his talent was where it was prior to the victory lap, and it could have been. I just didn't know if it was or not.
And it was, and he was getting better. You know what I'm saying? That's the thing. He was getting better. So I think that's a great what if.
Yeah, because Nip, I can't remember how old he was when he passed, but nonetheless,
it was 32, 33.
Okay,
33,
so he was rounding into. You can tell that there was more better to come.
Right.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But just the business acumen. Right. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Just what he represented.
Yeah. What he represented.
Yeah.
That's what I like.
And he could rap. And he was fucking talented.
Yeah. So talented. He's probably, a little bit biased because of what I like, but I think he might have been the guy that would have been.
He's the guy that would have been the guy.
I gotta say, he might be the GOAT of what ifs of the 2000s later generation.
Yeah.
Because I could see Nip being mentioned in the Cole Kendrick conversation.
Absolutely. And he was. Guys, he was taking on the Drakes like, listen, y'all gonna, if you ain't gonna be talking about Drake, Meek, and nigga put me on here with his thing. All right, he's on Toronto, he's on the East Coast. Who the fuck y'all got running the West? Name it, you better not. Who? Yeah. Okay. All right, we're gonna give you K Dot, but after that, where you going with it? Because K Dot is in Africa right now. He ain't no longer West Coast. He's doing Africa and Asia tours right now. Who's holding down America's West Coast?
And he had the cosigns and the stamps from you know
Diddy,
what I'm saying? Like
all the greats,
every Dr. Dre,
Master P. Like,
there's not one legend that has not touched him.
Right.
Not one. Not one legend he has.
Without
to his credit of him giving the flowers to every legend that he touched.
Yeah.
Every legend that touched him, he said, "Here go your flowers, bro. You a fucking legend." What he said, the Hove, the whole with the cover shit, Master P with the tank, nigga. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm giving all my flowers to everybody that deserve these flowers because without y'all, the gumball of what y'all did is what formed me. You know what I mean? So for sure, Nip is definitely probably gonna go down as the GOAT of what if somebody never took his fucking.
Absolutely.
That was crazy. I was thinking about that the other day, man. That's just crazy how he got taken away from us, bro. Because like he was really. Like you saw it, like he was.
It was coming.
Yeah, you know
it was
what I'm saying?
It was way deeper than the rap.
Yeah,
way deeper.
Yeah.
Like what he did with Community, how he stood up for
yes.
Crenshaw and that whole. Everybody loved him, bro. Like, you know what I mean? And what he stood for, just for, working on the stuff with Dr. Sebi and talking, speaking wealth and speaking all that stuff, bro.
Yeah.
Like
the guy was different.
Yeah, man.
He was on a high frequency, man.
Hip hop lost a great one.
Just to be fair for the viewers, for anybody that catches this show hundreds of years from now, if it's just floating around, what ifs go way back before these rappers. What ifs go to Fred Hampton, Malcolm X, Martin Luther King, all these cats' lives were taken, and we do not know what if they would be still alive would Martin Luther King have been a president of the United States. All the people that would, so they what ifs, we're talking because we're a little bit more in tune right now.
Right.
But my plan is if we see this comes around 100 years, 200 years ago, y'all, there was some cats that really who are big what ifs. The reason for those cats that we just mentioned right now, which are really Black Panthers. There's so many what ifs y'all did not kill them. They guys died of old age and some they went crazy.
They were killed.
But not if you not had assassinated a lot of people. There's a big what ifs of what could have changed the whole dynamic of what the world looked like.
Like what if like you say, Fred Hampton, Martin Luther King, and Malcolm X
were assassinated.
What if they weren't assassinated? How do we know that they never would have gotten together? You know what I'm saying?
And put us a whole. They were already doing Black Panther movies where they were feeding schools and doing things. So this is not to go too left. I'm just saying that there's a lot of what ifs of how the world could even be shaped. The United States could be shaped. That was my biggest part about that. What if it's just we talked about how games could be shaped, pop culture, rap. But how the United States could have been shaped, the biggest what if
in the world, people of color
of the world. Correct.
That's
the biggest what if of the world. Had a lot of people not been assassinated. One thing is, somebody died and this, that, and the third, or he overdosed on drugs. These things happen.
Right.
But we talking about what if some people had not been assassinated.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right. I think that's a good place to stop right there. Like just that part, because I think that's what we want to leave people with. Like if you really think about it. And for the for some of the younger viewers, even for some of the other viewers and listeners that might not know the history behind Fred Hampton and Malcolm X and Dr. King, like check that out. I know by the time this is the Judas and the Black Messiah is about to.
Asante Shakur.
It's about to be
so many people.
Yeah, that movie is about to.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Some way. Yeah. So yeah, hey man, that's y'all assignment. We're gonna shut this thing down, man, because we're gonna let y'all know something, man. This is we just wrapped up a whole season, right? This is the last episode of the first season. Let's Make History, man, and it's been an honor. You know what I'm saying, with you gentlemen. I can go ahead and put it out there that I'm in the belief that we're gonna get renewed for a second season.
We no limit. We the no limit of these, baby. We can't be stopped now.
We got some stuff we gotta talk about.
Right. So yeah, man.
Absolutely.
But yeah, man, it's definitely been an honor this first season, man. It's monumental. This with the inaugural, you know what I'm saying? That's what they call it.
Inaugural season.
Right. So yeah, man, with that, man, we're gonna close out and get out of here, man. Hey, but it's been real. Fellas, let's make history.
Peace.